All right, enough messing around. Should we have a look inside? Handle down here, butterfly doors, and that's just brilliant. Look at that entire chunky sill just comes with you, revealing the side of the cockpit, the tub, and you can just see the way it's beautifully tapers inside those front wheels, getting narrower as you head forward, all part of the aerodynamic package that was considered before anything else on this car. Right, let's see if I can get in with some grace. Easy, in fact, because all the sill's gone with it, so you've only got that much to cross. Okay, here we are then, inside the Ferrari F80. I've put the harness on because you never know when you're going to get another chance. And what can I tell you about this? Well, the first thing is that everything is angled towards the driver. It envelops the driver. It's a cockpit feel. Ferrari talk about it a lot in the bump that I was given an hour ago, that they wanted it to feel like you were driving a single-seater. Well, if that were true, they should have put the steering wheel in the middle of the car, but they didn't. It's nothing new, this cockpit feel for supercars and hypercars. But what I particularly like is if you're the passenger in this car, you get zero adjustment for your seat, unlike the driver. This one's in bright red, and this is in black, as if to make it as invisible as possible. What you do get as a passenger is this screen in front of you, so you can see how fast we're going, what kind of revs we're doing. The engine, by the way, revs to 9,200 RPM. Or you can just look over my shoulder at the screen in front of me. What I'm looking at, though, is the steering wheel. It's a brand new steering wheel. Ferrari say they're going to use this in other future Ferrari models. And what I can tell you is it's squashed. Squashed at the top, squashed at the bottom. So you get this rather strange egg-shaped wheel, but the bit you're supposed to be holding here at the sides is nice and chunky, nice and grippy with Alcantara. And the big news is not these lovely carbon fiber pedals behind here, but the fact that they've brought back physical switches on the wheel. You'll notice in recent Ferraris they've gone purely touch sensitive and haptic feedback, and it's a bit bothersome, a bit hard to know what you're actually pressing. But here we've got physical switches, which is good when you've got all this performance underneath you. Let's talk about modes. So we've got the familiar Manatino switch here: wet, sport, race, CT off, which is the kind of interim traction control, hero mode I like to call it, or you can turn everything off if you're very brave indeed. And then in terms of the hybrid powertrain itself, you have three modes for that. Hybrid, which prioritizes efficiency. You've only got a small battery in this car, by the way, 2.7 kilowatt hours, I think. There is no E mode like you get in an SF90, so no driving away from your house in the morning, silently gliding away and keeping your neighbours happy. We've also got performance mode, so that dials everything up. That lets you really extract the performance on track, but keeps the battery topped up to around 70%. Or you can go into qualifying mode and unleash all the fury. To hell with the battery charge. Let's just go as quickly as we can go until it all runs out. The interior, they've gone for this quite sort of industrial style setup. Bit like the Land Rover Defender, there's exposed bolts here on this kind of floating center console. There's loads of space behind it for you to wirelessly charge your phone. It's a solid engine cover, of course, so you've got a camera instead of a proper wing mirror, but we're kind of used to those now, and we've got proper wing mirrors out there, which is nice. The interesting thing about this car is Ferrari is talking about just how usable they want it to be on the road. And a big part of that is the active suspension system, so you can soften it right off. And it should be, they say, a good car to go road tripping in, to use every day. And I will say this, having recently driven the Aston Martin Valkyrie, which, to be fair, has a similar seating position with your heels somewhere above your bum, this doesn't feel nearly as extreme and cramped and compromised from in here. Whether it can go as fast as the Valkyrie and deliver the visceral thrills of the Valkyrie once we get out there, well, we're going to have to wait and see.